Are you getting ready for that next cruise? Or will this be a first cruise? Today, I want to talk a little bit about a few things that I wish someone had warned me about before my first cruise. No, I'm not talking anything tragic, no shark attacks or anything. Actually, it's all good stuff. Many of these things today, I've never even heard anyone else even talk about, but I do believe they are important, especially our tips on alcohol. So if you enjoy cruising, or maybe just thinking about it, we invite you to subscribe and come be a part of our cruise family here at Cruise Control. All right, I'd like to start with a few things to keep in mind before you actually board the ship. The first one is your passport. Yeah, don't forget your passport. You know this is something that most of us don't use every day, so yes, it can be so easily forgotten when we get so involved packing everything else. Now also, I've got a tip for you on this one that I wish I had known a long time ago, and that would be a passport wallet. These little things are just perfect. There is room for your passport, your driver's license, a couple of credit cards, and maybe a little cash. They also make bigger ones that will zip up and can carry your cell phone as well. This is perfect for when you're porting at the islands to just carry what you need, and you can leave your wallet or pocketbook behind. You always want to carry your passport with you when you're in another country. I've heard some people say that they leave their passport on the ship when they get off at the port, and to me that's just not a good idea at all. There could be several reasons that you would need your passport. The very worst case scenario being that if you were to in fact miss the ship, meaning the ship sails without you, and your passport is on the ship, that leaves you in a foreign country with no passport. That would not be a good situation at all. Let's certainly hope nothing like that ever happens. But this little handy wallet is just right for taking what you need. They're very inexpensive, and I actually have a couple of links in the description below listed in our cruise gear if you'd like to check those out. All right, next up, I recommend that everyone carry a small backpack, especially if you're flying into your port. You can carry any medications you may have, a change of clothes, even swimwear if you plan to go swimming perhaps before your cabin might be ready. The reason I say a change of clothes is that if you're flying in and should your luggage get lost, yeah, the airline may find it in the next couple of days, but in the next couple of days you're going to be out at sea, and at least you will have a change of clothes. Also, a small backpack is great for when you port and are visiting the islands to take things that you might need with you and to carry any purchases you may make, souvenirs, things like that. It just makes life so much easier. It doesn't have to be anything huge or heavy. Just something small and light can make a world of difference. Okay, let's talk about sunscreen for just a second. Yeah, everybody knows to bring sunscreen, okay. But what a lot of people don't realize is actually how much time you do spend in the sun on a cruise vacation. Now, even if you aren't a person who likes to lay out by the pool and sunbathe, you still got to remember that the time that you're ported at the islands, most of that time you're going to be out in the sun. And that's something that many of us 9-to-5 people are just not used to. So yeah, my advice here would be to maybe double up on sunscreen, because you may use more than you think. You can purchase it at home a lot cheaper than what it's going to cost you once you get on the ship. Okay, once you've boarded the ship, very shortly afterward, there will be a muster drill where they show you how to put on your life jacket, as we all know. But if this is your first cruise, or if this is a new ship for you, you may not quite know your way around, or you may feel just a little lost. Here's a tip for you. Every cruise that I've ever been on has the location of the muster drill right there on the back of your cabin door on the inside. There should even be a little map there for you. So if you're a little unsure of your way around, you may want to go ahead and venture out to find it so you'll know where to go. Now, this next one may sound a little crazy, but in reality, I promise you it's not. This one I was actually warned about beforehand, and I'm so glad I was. When you go to take your first shower on the ship, not all, but some of the ships, the hot water can be scalding, and the water pressure can be fierce. Please, please do yourself a favor and adjust that water before you step into the shower, because once you turn it on, it's on you. Okay, this next one is a little bit eerie. It's actually kind of creepy, really, and I've never heard anyone else ever talk about it before, but it is true. Okay, so it's your first day on board the ship, and you're exploring the ship and learning your way around. Now, this isn't true for every ship, but for a lot of them it is. There are sometimes areas at the very back of the ship that can be kind of dark at night, okay? Now, also you have to remember on the ship it's scooting across the water. So when you get to the back of the ship, sometimes in some areas there can be somewhat of a vacuum, meaning that the wind can blow really hard. So when you mix that darkness, yeah, it's kind of dark back there sometimes, in with the feeling that you're about to be sucked off the back of the ship, it can be just a little bit scary. Now, it's not all ships, and it's not all areas. Let me be a little more specific. Now, for example, on some of the larger Carnival ships, you have the promenade deck on deck 5, which goes all the way around the ship. When you get to the back of the ship on promenade, this is one of the areas I'm talking about. It can be rather dark and rather windy. This will be on ships like the Carnival Magic, Carnival Dream, the Breeze, the Vista, the Horizon, and also will be on the Carnival Panorama. Just want to give some heads up on that one. I just don't want anyone being scared or caught by surprise. Okay, now these next few are very important. I want to talk about shopping at your ports of destination. This is actually one of my favorite things to do, and while I may not buy a lot, I still really enjoy the shops on the island, so let me give you a few tips here. First off, yes, most every place does accept American money and credit cards, but there are a few things to be aware of. A lot of people like going to the jewelry shops, and because the jewelry can be sometimes very inexpensive. But now what they will do many times is offer cocktails as you shop. And yes, I'm guilty as well, but just be careful, because the idea here is the more you drink, the more you will buy. And they know that. That's why they offer you a free drink. So just don't get all hooched up and spend all your money. Now, while we're talking about booze on the island, many places you visit will have liquor stores or places to buy spirits, and many of them give free samples. Some of them give lots of free samples. Also, in many countries, the legal drinking age is less than 21 years old. Are you following me yet? What I'm saying is, yes, it is possible that your 18-year-old son or daughter could come back to the ship smashed, legally and for free in some places. The legal drinking age, or the age to purchase alcohol, is 18 years old in many countries, like the Bahamas, Mexico, Jamaica, Belize, Costa Rica, as well as many other places, and 16 years old in Cuba. Just so you know, when the kids say, "Hey, Mom and Dad, let's go here," well, They may have just done a little bit of research. Oh my. Another good point to know is that yes, liquor can be cheaper at some of the stores on the islands, and you can actually find things there that you may not find at home. Sometimes the store clerk will tell you, yes, you can take this back on the ship with you, and it's perfectly fine, which may be true, but also a little misleading. Now, if you're thinking, I could take this back to our cabin and save a ton of money on cocktails. Well, that may not work because when you get back to the ship to go back on board, they're going to ask you two questions. Number one, did you have a good time today? And number two, did you purchase any alcohol? At this point, they will keep the alcohol for you and have you sign a paper so that you can get it back when the ship arrives back at home port. Now, to me personally, the savings just isn't worth the hassle, but everyone's different there. If you're really just looking to get plastered, why not do it while you're on the island where it's cheap and then get back on the ship? But you got to get back on the ship. And the next day when you port, you can do the same thing, and so on. Then when you get back home and your friends ask, where all did you go? You can honestly say, I don't remember. Then yeah, they're all going to want to go too. All right, now I want to talk about seasickness for just a second. I know I've talked a lot about it, so I'm going to make this really quick. For those who have cruised and never gotten seasick, I've got something for you. And for those who may be thinking about a first cruise, I have something for you too. And I want to share something a little personal right now. Believe it or not, I actually get motion sickness fairly easy. I've gotten sick on Carnival rides. I've even gotten sick just sitting on the dock at the lake. I don't mean just feeling a little queasy, I mean really sick. But I've never gotten sick on a cruise ship. Yet. So 2 points here. First, if you've never taken a cruise in fear that you would get motion sickness, there's a good chance that you may not. You may be just like me. And the other point is that if you've cruised before and have never gotten seasick, remember it could still happen. And to me, an ounce of prevention is worth so much, especially if you get sick. My thoughts are at least pack maybe some Dramamine or something for motion sickness just in case. For me personally, I go to my doctor and I get the patch that goes behind your ear. Sometimes I wear it and other times I forget it. But still, I'm prepared because I know that yes, it can happen. And my final tip today is just something that I want you to be aware of for the very last day of your cruise. You will have spent a fantastic week vacation with no worries, lots of fun, good food, basically a week in paradise until that last day when it comes time to disembark and leave the ship. Many people start to feel a little let down, a little sad and blue, and maybe even a little irritated because it's time to go back to reality and leave all the fun behind. It's something that is very real, and many people feel it, so just don't be surprised if you find yourself feeling a little blue when it's time to go. Guys, again, my name is Michael. How about a thumbs up? Remember to subscribe and check out our cruise gear listed in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.